the kind of key bit for everyone is like how do you sort out your own internal data assets, and every company's signal you could put up the data. And I'd say the biggest challenge with that is it's people, culture, and legal and risk, and trying to organize all that is not a technology challenge, it's an equal challenge.
Yeah, people is the bottleneck.
Well, yes, it's a bit of a cliche of technology, but it's so true.
But it can also be organizational, it can be regional processes. Exactly, and I think ownership tends to be a bit of a problem. This is my baby. I'm not going to share it with you, even though it might be valuable to you. So it's a cultural challenge.
Yeah, I often think of AI as the Great Wall Break, because in order to do AI well, you need good data, and in order to have good data, you need to have it be connected across the organization.
One other thing on that, MCPs make it much easier because you can work with very messy, unstructured data you find truth in. Before we had to do a lot more work to manage organized data, so can speed things up.
100%. So we talked about the culture of data, the culture and data hurdles, but there's also a massive technical reality behind us. Matt, what have you talked about breaking those data samples with Kakuha and unpassive footprint as well? How is Nvidia's computing enabling brands to run these multimodal agentic marketing systems?
Well, there's a variety of ways that we are building fundamental technology, right, that helps our system.
We're unlike a lot of the bigger tech companies in that we are a developer-facing organization. Like, we have tools, we have software libraries, obviously we have infrastructure and compute, but we give that to developers, help them use that to build a product or a platform. And so if you're building a vector database of your data, and for retrieval, so quick retrieval, essentially we have a data framework built on top of our infrastructure as a software library to accelerate that. So I think that it's no secret if there's more data than ever, it's messier than ever, and we have solutions to help developers address either structured or unstructured data in a way that makes it really fast and really performing, so that when you do decide to put an agent over the top of it, it's able to operate at a speed and address that is required in that prime architecture.
That makes total sense. I think it's also basically how do you get to the data that actually matters versus the piles that are everywhere.
And I think it's interesting because I think a lot of organizations think, oh, well, it's just my marketing data that matters for marketing. But actually, what we're seeing is a lot of organizations take data from all across the enterprise, bring it into essential, what we call it, AI factory. So you bring your data into the factory, you run your software like your acceleration and processing, etc. And what comes out the other end is intelligence. Right? And that intelligence helps you as a business operate. The way that I kind of refer to it is that it closes the gap between what you do as a business and what you know as a business, right? And if you take that intelligence and you bring it back around in a flywheel into AI factory, then you just exponentially improve your intelligence as a business. And the more data you're chucking in, IT data, finance data, CMS, all of it, the more valuable and powerful that intelligence that comes out the other end it is.
And it becomes the moat for any organization versus their competition.
It's the differential.
And the mean performance that AI.
I think too, we were talking about this at a round table earlier, it removes that barrier of knowledge where some people have the knowledge and some people don't have the knowledge, and it breaks down the silos because everyone has access to that data. And to your point, there might be data that would seem like marketing data that could be really valuable to IT or to HR or to sales, and then once it's all in that centralized place, and then being also able to add in that legacy data. So we find with a lot of our customers who are doing migrations from different vendors and they bring all of their assets in, that legacy data has so much context built into it and so much metadata and value to the business that everybody should be able to tap into that using agentic. So I think that's the key, having
somebody said today, I don't want to talk about data layers, but having that all in one place, that the whole company has access to that, I think is so powerful.
I think there's also part of it where, you know, the data and to run these models, if you really need to think of it as two and hyphen emitter. So historically, obviously, it has been static and it's siloed, whether it be in PDFs or Excel files. You know, in this AI first world, how is GUI making its deep consumer index machine readable so it can actively be into this compute?
Yeah, I mean, actually just builds on the point you were just making, which is it's really the ultimate democratization of consumer insights. It's always been our vision as a business, but the technology has not been there to me. But finding stories in data and analyzing data is really difficult skill, and could be working your whole career and still find it very challenging to find like signal in the noise and find good stories, and all which just takes a lot of time. So it's fundamentally transforming how people use data, consumer insights. Really can't be in this industry is more impacted by it. So you can go from something that could take 2 days to like, it literally takes 2 minutes. It's just mine all this unstructured data. So that's moving insights from static documents that the expert prepared and is now available to anyone. Like, so our biggest growth user base is salespeople. I'm not nothing against salespeople. I've lost them, but they're not the most research savvy.
Empower the salespeople, I say.
Power the seller. So now they could pull their own insights through an agent. It's great into the workflow. Not only is that much quicker, they can pitch more, price commercial, like
And pitch better.
pitch better. And for a data and insights, you're moving it to something that was kind of peripheral to like, to be right at the core of like that you operate machines for business circulation. It's just really transforming. It's like really transforming the business.
100%. I think that's kind of leads the next question, where, you know, Paul, Stelia, amongst, you know, do a lot of work together, developing and testing fine-tuned prediction models. So how do we actually start to leverage that data to turn to a decision? And in the era where ad algorithms and consumer behaviors are constantly shifting, how do you help brands adapt to these changes in real time?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the pace of all of this stuff is really ramped up. You know, the age of static targeting of audience cohorts, yeah, that's disappearing or into the rearview mirror. And so, what becomes really important is how do you adapt to the way the algorithms work, and also adapt to changing customer behavior, because this is all changing all the time. And so building the pipelines that enable you to continually train or fine-tune models that understand what is happening right now is really, really important. Yeah, and that's what we've been working with much to build.
Yeah, and that flexibility because of how fast it should.
You know, it's impossible, like as a human, it's impossible to keep up with it, and that's where the machine can really help.
That makes total sense. Meg, you see firsthand how these frameworks land with agencies and brand networks. What does it take to get global agencies and brands to embrace agentic supply chain?
Removing the fear. And I think that fear is of the unknown, and that AI is the word AI, or what are we calling it? Is it a word? It's all encompassing. It's huge. I was at Cannes 3 years ago, I guess, when you were all, and every conversation you walked past, everyone was like AI, 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 and none of us knew what we were going to do with it, what that meant. There was a lot of people talking about what they said, what they were going to do with it. But I think it's really unleashing the power and removing the fear of the brand, like losing control of your brand. The people that are using it, the Canva folk are using it for content at scale, personalization, for being able to go into different geo markets and localize things. For marketers, that's their worst nightmare. They're like, how do I do that and maintain control? And so I think using AI sensibly, having all of that information into the one place, having human oversight that says, you know what, you can have that information
And you can have that information. And we're going to use this. We're going to have a message that we're all talkers about, that we're all back to the salespeople. Who doesn't want to empower their 20,000 salespeople to go to market? So we work with a ton of real estate companies who have headquarters, and then they have agencies, and then they have brokers. And once upon a time, not very long ago, a broker would have to come back and say, I have a new risk team, creative team, I had a new listing and I need new assets. And to go able to unlock that and say, actually, agentically, you can get the information that you need out of here, and then you can create those assets for yourself. Remove that bottleneck. I think the barrier is people being able to actually see the end output, like the end results and the outcome and what that's going to do for them. Right now, it's just a big work with a lot of stuff attached.
I do. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think another piece which really helps with that removing the fear is being able to lift the lid off and see what's going on inside, so that it's not just a black box. So having the observability capability, so that when something makes a decision or makes a recommendation, you can actually get underneath why did that, what data was it given, what reasoning did it go through, and then so whoever it is who has the fear can then understand why, and if you need to then change the way the system is working, you can see how you need to do that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think at a user level as well, the fear often is like, I don't know how to do AI. Like, do it, like it's a thing. And obviously at Canva, we've tried to bake that into our product. So it's not, use the product and then you go over here to do AI. And so I think that in itself, the way you build it into your products, the way you talk about it, the way you do change management and you enable your teams, and it really helps to remove that as well. It's not a separate thing that you have to learn. It's just making your life easier.
I like what you said about AI being discussed here 3 years ago. Before that was Metaverse, right?
At DE&I.
Yeah.
But we fixed that, so we don't have to talk about that now.
Let's not go there. But I think what we're seeing now with discussions, I'm sure all of you have heard agentic AI, all wink. It's on a Tuesday. I keep reminding myself. And I think we're in that same place with agentic, right? There's a definition problem, right? What is an agent? We kind of think of it as having agency, right? That the delegated ability to make certain levels of decision, and releasing that is far more scarier, right? Even than when we were talking about generative AI, etc. So I think we're in a really interesting position where the industry is going, yes, we understand that we need agents, because actually what a lot of people define an agent is a natural language way of doing the UI or querying intelligence that you've created through your data gathering. And actually what we would do is move to a place where we actually start to trust agents to take more and more of that decision making for us.
Founders.
Yes, not to replace us, but to actually make things easier for us. It's about putting security. It's about putting trust. I love what you said about transparency, because if I'm going to trust an agent to do something for me, I want to be able to understand why it did that thing, and if I don't like that thing, how do I fix it in the future so it doesn't do it in?
I think that's great. I think part of what the end there made with the change management aspect was the last piece. He'll actually integrated into the ways that we're working and we're thinking about it. And that's the biggest difference from last year, this year even, is just the conversations about where AI's actually being used versus where it could be used.
Yeah. I think somebody was talking to me today about, we used to always say www.such-and-such.com, and we don't do that anymore. We just say monks, and we say Canva, and everyone just assumes that there's a website attached to that. I think before long, we'll, maybe by next scan, we're not saying about AI. It's just a feature.
New tools, products, features.
That's within all of our tools that we all use, and we're all using agentic tools, and we're not saying such and such AI. it's implicit that AI is baked into that.
100%. So I'm gonna do the final kind of round of graphical questionnaire, and I'd like to put this one to all of you. So we'll kind of just go down the line and interact as we have Bill. But many friends feel paralyzed when it comes to implementing AI because they think their internal data isn't clear enough or perfect enough to train a model. What do you want to say to those brands? And we'll start it off with Barry Sandra Paul.
Someone's already mentioned flywheels, right? But I think that's the key point. The best time to start is now and build a system that can be the flywheel that improves the data.
That makes total sense.
Yeah, similar. I think use AI to clean your data. And just, at every level, the more you use it, as we all know, the more you use it, the better it gets, the more it cleans it. I think this to me is human oversight. It needs good judgment and it needs governance and compliance and all of those things. But I think like the more you use it, the more control you have over it, and it does that data cleaning for you.
I'd say the more you use it and the more you also question it, test it to improve. Yeah,
Feedback.
100%.
I used to do a bit of adoption work, right, in the previous roles. And adoption is always about overcoming fear or pushback. It's a cultural bug. And I think with AI, it's playing out just as any deployment of a new technology does, right? And we used to talk about labeling people as red, green, and red, yellow, and green, right? And you go after the people that are green. Those are the people that aren't going to push back. They embrace the new technology. And I think if you can find those people in your organization, empower them to use these tools, and showcase to the rest of the organization what's actually possible by using them, because I guarantee you can do more than those people that aren't using it. It sets the tone, and I think that has to happen from the top of your organization to the bottom of your organization, etc. And that is how you really get people to understand what's possible.
I think that's totally true. I think if you wait for your data to be perfect in a good place, you're only going to be waiting forever. Nobody's data is ever perfect and free. And I think what I said earlier is that the most amazing thing about this technology is the ability to make sense of really messy data with tiny stories. You shouldn't wait for anything, really. But it's also about merging, where I've seen the most power is merging first-party data with high-quality third-party sources, and now with MCPs, we can merge those things really easily. So that with Monk's Flow is like very powerful to do all of that. Internal intelligence, external intelligence in one place. It's huge power.
Yeah, and then what you can do with it is like, as you add more to it and learn more from it, that is just keeps getting better and better. And I think like the phrase I use is you have to start by starting. And there's a lot of them to like just start with the trying to think about it too much instead of just try and fail and learn and grow. Awesome. Well, I want to thank our panelists and thank you guys for the final session with Monks here. And I think I'll just let it get up.
Happy to see you.